first and how the pressure was fed. But I know just what it feels like to have a voice in the back of my head. Like a face that I hold inside, face that awakes when I close my eyes, face that I watch every time I lie, face that laughs every time I fall. So I know that when it's time to sink or swim, the face inside is hearing me right underneath my skin. It's like a paranoid looking over my back. It's like a whirlwind inside of my head. It's like I can't stop what I'm living within. It's like the face inside is right beneath my skin.
All right, everybody. Want to welcome each and every one of y'all out to another episode of Chris's Corner here at Desoto BMX, third installment of the podcast, coming at you right now live Saturday. Want to thank my co-host, Mr. Blaine Graham, for driving on up from Magnolia, Texas, bringing his son Riley to ride on the track. And, man, just looking forward to a really awesome episode of Chris's Corner podcast going down with you, Mr. Blaine. And, man, we've got some awesome guests coming on the show tonight. We got Donny Robinson.
It doesn't get any bigger than Donny Robinson.
No. I mean, actually, I should have saved that name for last, actually. I mean, we got Donny Robinson, 2008 Olympic bronze medalist. We're going to be talking about the BMX Race League from Fort Wayne BMX, Mr. Barney Goodwin. He's kind of thrown a shout out about a track operator race at the Grants.
He called you guys out.
He straight up called every track operator out. So, really looking forward to that. Jason Crouch from Central Texas BMX is in the house tonight. Want to thank him for taking the order on all the helmets and everything that we're going to need for the BMX Race League. USA BMX hooked us up on bikes. Mr. Jason Crouch got us the hook up on helmets, and we're just feel really blessed. And also, I'm going to start throwing out with Donny Robinson's name, Mr. Mike Carruth. Him and Donny came up with the BMX Bike Racing League, and Mike Carruth, I don't think, and Donny would agree with me 100%, doesn't get the recognition he needs to for the success of this program. So Mike Carruth, from the bottom of our hearts, we thank you. And Mike Carruth, definitely part of the happenings in the BMX Race League. And this show coming up tonight is going to be awesome. Can't wait to talk to Donny and kind of get his perspective on that. And I've got a couple questions to ask him tonight about his predictions for the Olympics coming up and everything else, and kind of his past in BMX and where it all started for him. So this episode of Chris's Corner podcast with you, my co-host, Mr. Blaine Graham, and I do want to throw a shout out, or not necessarily a shout out, but just a little warning. We're going to ramp this thing up all the way to the Grands. We're 61 days from the Grands.
Oh yeah.
And we're going to have our spot up there. We're going to be throwing down the podcast, going to get some really good audio, really good interviews. We're going to have that released on the Monday or Tuesday after the Grands for everybody's listening pleasure. And
if I can get a decent connection, I might be able to get it out daily.
Daily?
Yeah.
That'll be awesome. Because we're going to, I'd like to throw down, y'all will be there. Yeah, y'all are going to be there the whole time. So we'll throw down Thursday afternoon, Friday, Saturday morning, and Sunday morning. I can't wait to watch some of this race.
Oh, it's going to be intense. And it's going to be intense. We're talking, there's probably going to be, every year that I go, it seems like there's more riders. I don't know how many was there last year, but it seemed...
It was insane.
It was filled. Every moto was just stacked.
The gates were full. The racing was on point. The emotions were higher than ever. And I'm going to tell you right now, it was the cool experience I had at the Grands any time that I've been. And I haven't been a lot to the Grands. I've only been a few times. And actually, that was my second time last year. This will be my third Grands, in the 18 years that we've been involved in the sport. It was only my second Grand, so this would be my third. And what they allowed me to do was at the mains at the Rock, I got to sit at the finish line and hand out all the rock plates.
Oh, nice.
As they come off the track. So, the goosebumps that I got, I seen kids cry, upset. They're going to come back this year for that Rock 1 plate. I seen the emotions, the parents, the tears, the anger, just every emotion you could think of, and how serious they actually take that rock plate. And it was insane. So that was the highlight of, and Billy Russell, my boy, turned pro right after the Grands. He was in that 1927. He won that. And I'm just really excited to see what happens this year. Got Shaylin Reno, Alec Bob, Billy Russell, Trinity Stofflet. There's so many kids that are going to be at the Grands this year, and I hate to. I really shouldn't even start throwing out names because there's so many, and I know I'm going to forget somebody, and I don't ever want to do that. But hopefully we have a good program coming up for the Grands, and we're gonna talk to all of them and kind of hear where they're at mentally coming into the weekend.
That's going to be the big thing: is who can pull it all together when it counts.
Yes. It's that head game. Mm-hmm. It's the head game going in, because we know from watching each and every Saturday that, even that y'all have been coming here a lot, and just watching them, we see their skill, we see their speed, we know they have it. But it's at that race, can they pull it out and perform?
That's when it really comes together, because all these kids can come out here on a local Friday night when there's no pressure in race, but when you get in front of all of those people at the Grands, it's a whole nother world.
And the other thing, the ones that you see out here on Monday night, Wednesday night, getting in a clinic and racing every Friday and Saturday night, you're going to see whose work pulls together. And the thing is, the ones that come out once a month and they think they're going to go to the Grands, and I'm not knocking nobody, but I'm telling you, the ones that don't train and don't practice, they go to the Grands expecting something big, and they get their heart broke. It's about putting in the work, putting in the effort, and really getting out there and training and getting ready to go, because they're going out there. They're racing against the fastest kids on the planet. When it comes down to them mains, they're not playing around.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we've seen it even last year with, there's a lot of kids that come over from overseas and race.
Australia, Japan, they're from France, mm-hmm. Them kids, they're insane, and they're coming to take them trophies back to their country.
Yeah, and some of these kids are. Last year we were at a local track down in Houston the week before Grands, and kid shows up from Australia with World 1 on his bike.
Unbelievable.
And right there, I was going, okay, that kid is someone else. Well, that was Tom Tucker.
Yeah.
And he was out there. I think he raced. I think he was 12 years old last year, 12 or 13, but he hit the pro set.
Good God.
He is legit.
Well,
so they got some. You're going to see some guys that you don't normally see in this national circuit show up to the Grands.
Well, I'm honestly, of course I don't know all the kids in BMX. There's just so many of them. But I'm going to be up in the stands when the first gate drops in practice, all the way through the the events on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'm going to have my notepad out, and we're gonna have a lot of content for that first couple episodes after the Grands. So, ladies and gentlemen, we got an awesome show coming to you tonight. We got Jason Crouch, Bradley Goodwin, Donny Robinson. Got some information on Donny Robinson, the BMX Race League. Mr. Mike Carruth. My co-host, as always, Mr. Blaine Graham. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Chris's Corner here at Desoto BMX. Third episode podcast coming at you, large and in charge right now.
Chris.
Unbelievable. How are you, sir?
Did we hit it the first time, or are we on yet?
No, we're on. We are going. I want to welcome everybody out to the third episode of Chris's Corner podcast going down here at DeSoto BMX under the big top here in DeSoto, Texas, live Saturday night racing. And I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, we are super excited once again to get to talk to the legend, the man, the myth, the legend, Donny Robinson, 2008 bronze medalist. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. I didn't know if this was Chris's Corner or Chris's Couch. I didn't know what this new updated podcast was going to be called. I'm glad it's the same thing.
We don't
want to confuse our customers and our audience, so that's very good. Yes, today is going very well. Long day at the track, but one that we've never been able to have before. So we have our state championship finals running this weekend in Santa Clara, and so that's about 75 minutes away from my track. And this was the first time in history our track was able to run a local race on this weekend, just based on our BMX Racing League graduates and their parents who stepped up to volunteer. So we had 33 riders out for our local race today. So I was very pleased to kind of be making that movement towards, kind of the thing that I hope most tracks are striving for, and that's just, the ability to constantly have the customers come out, regardless of their proficiency. And so we had a really good day.
Man, congratulations on that. That is, and that's exactly why I called tonight. We wanted to talk about the BMX League, how that's happening, and what's happening here. It was just unbelievable to see the amount of kiddos and parents that were wanting to jump in on this on the open house night. We had 38 riders, and it just blew my socks off. About the excitement and the want to in all these people, and the knowledge they already had of it before they showed up, and not for BMX as in riding, but the knowledge of the BMX League and what BMX was, the way it's just being put out there, whether it's on Facebook, Chris's Corner, what you're doing to USA BMX, and the word of mouth, and I think the word of mouth is the biggest thing we have going for us.
Totally. And, again, all of these open houses and these league seasons that are popping up, it's just very nice to see, tracks kind of, go off and try something different, because this league is, it's never been done before. And, everybody thinks that there's a little bit of risk involved, and of course there is. But, USA BMX has made it so very easy, and there's only upside to go along with it. And, again, those open houses are just the point at which we're able to sell this program, because we know as people who've been in here for, 5 or 50 years, they really take to the sport when they're able to experience it, and when we're doing it in a new type of environment, one that is not about expensive equipment or pressure or anything more than just having fun with the family and riding bikes. And so I'm just, very thrilled that you are thrilled with the experience, because, there's so many tracks. Like, where can we find these new riders? They don't exist. Well, they do exist. We just need to stop talking Olympics and action sports and crashes and all of these things that we love, but these new families, they can't be sold on something without first loving what it is essentially that we're offering, and that is bicycle riding and extra family time.
And we're on, just to let you know, Donnie, we're here at the track. We're set up. We got our table, got our mixer, got our computer out, got 3 sets of headphones here. Mr. Blaine Graham is on right now. He's my co-host on this new show that we're doing. We just got approved for our podcast by YouTube, so we've got a national thing going on now. This is our 3rd episode, our first one where we've actually had our approved podcast, so it's actually going to go out there in a bigger manner, and we're super excited. He's going to have a question or two for you here in just a minute, but what I would like to do for the new people that we're going to reach, can you, if you don't mind, let's go back to the beginning where this all came up in your brain, and how you got it implemented into the California scene at Napa, and kind of your history, and just give everybody a first-hand visual of how this all came to fruition, if you don't mind.
Certainly. Well, we'll just take it back really far. So I started racing when I was 6. Moved my way through the sport, and very fortunately got to the top level, the Olympics. And it was just about 2010 where all of my injuries and everything started kind of catch up to me, and I was all in with this sport still. I still had sponsors supporting me. Life was still good, but I could definitely see that time of my life where I was being told, hey, this is kind of coming to an end, and I kind of wanted to leave on my own terms. I didn't want to push it too hard, but I did. I mean, that's kind of the way that I'm programmed, and it was me struggling with a lot of crashes, head injuries specifically, that made me kind of, in 2015 say, hey, I think that 2016 is going to be my last year as a professional BMX racer. And, I hope that I'm able to make it through and kind of transition into something else. And I've never wanted to leave the sport, but so many do. I mean, they're almost forced out, or they don't have a place, or they end up going back to school and getting out of the industry. But I didn't want to do that, and it was I've spent my whole life dedicated to this sport, and I wanted to find something that I could fit into. Very, very thankfully, I hooked up with Mike Carruth, who, does Vintage BMX and BMX News, and so I've always known him as just a photographer. And it was about 2013-ish that him and I kind of started becoming friends, really. I mean, just kind of hanging out and talking on the phone, and he is just a wealth of knowledge. He's been in the sport forever. And he was kind of helping me decide how to transition out of an athlete into a different role. And we were able to travel together, and on one specific drive from his house to South Park, Pennsylvania, we were talking about this idea that he had for a BMX racing league. And so all of these people in the sport, myself included, were wondering, how do we get more people on bikes? How do we get them out to the track? And Mike was like, look, we need to look at all of the sports that are successful, and we need to kind of, do what we do and model it after them.
Yeah. And
so he had this idea, and so it was about 8 years ago on Vintage BMX, he actually wrote this idea of how the BMX Racing League would work. It's a structured participation program. Then it had different parameters, but what we have now is basically a 5-week program, all-inclusive price of $129 it started out as. We give the riders a jersey, a number plate, a season-end award, all the access to loaner equipment, and really just an environment that these families can learn to love the sport. And it's offered in a different way than our sport is now, because really, the families show up to the track and they're completely inundated with fast riders and expensive equipment and people pushing them to state races. And we don't want that, and it turns out that these families don't want it either. And so, 2016, I was ending my pro career, and it was kind of interesting how I finished my last pro lap at the Grands, and I literally stepped off my bike and right into the track operator room at the Grands in Tulsa and started talking to the track operators about this new league program that I had just kicked off in my hometown of Napa, California. And I got to work with my Parks and Rec department, and basically we just, threw this program together, said, hey, we're going to give it a shot. And, I went out and I did Facebook promotion, and really through different messaging and programming, I got 40 families sight unseen to give me $100, right off the bat, to sign up for this first 5-week program. And it was proof right off the bat that we could get these families out to the track. Now the question is, could we keep them the whole 5 weeks, and were they going to come back? And so we kept 39 of them through the course of the 5 weeks, and after that it was kind of coming up against winter time, and I didn't know if we should take a pause until spring or if we should do another winter season. And so we ended up going with another winter season, had 31 in the second season, 15 new riders, 16 returning riders. And what's great about the BMX Racing League, at least how we kind of envisioned it, was that it would allow riders who were still of the beginner level to still take part in the league program, because if they didn't want to be serious, we didn't want to push them into regular, what we now call open racing. And so that was super awesome to see that those 2 seasons, kind of kicked off well. But I knew that the real test would be in spring of 2017, when, word of mouth and additional promotion, you see how things went. And so we came out in spring of 2017, had 115 kids sign up for the program. Wow. We actually raised the price to $129, and it was beautiful because we got the people out to the track. My track got extra revenue. We got extra volunteers. We were getting the extra track points. And so, it was at that point that we started to, kind of publicize this and say, look, I think we got a winner with this program. And we had a lot of tracks say, oh, you're only doing so well because you're Donny and you're Olympian and you're teaching it.
Yes.
And I was like, you know what? Maybe everybody's right, but maybe they're not right. And so we got some interest from, Cisco in Washington, and we got some people, tracks in Michigan and Wisconsin and Colorado, and we had tracks right off the bat that wanted to sign on to this program. And so I was literally teaching these tracks kind of what I knew, and I was handling all the promotion for them via Facebook, because it turns out, all the families are hanging out on Facebook, and when they see something as attractive as what we're offering, they really want to come out, especially for a free open house. And so all of the other locations in Washington and Michigan, they actually had better first seasons than I did at my own home track. Yes. And I knew it was at that point, I was like, okay, now we can teach the people how to do it a certain way and get the same results. And so, it was always our intention to partner with USA BMX and be able to scale this nationwide, and that was the goal right off the bat. Now, it took a little while for that to happen, longer than we expected, but the whole team at USA BMX officially adopted the program, acquired it at Grands of last year. And so Mike Cruz and I, we had expanded to 10 tracks our first year, and now coming up on to our second year, we're at like 38 tracks and still growing. So long story, a little bit shorter, we have a program that we tested. We are now offering to tracks nationwide, and it is got some pretty great results.
Well, I was really, really excited to hear, and I seen something written down, and I believe it came directly from you, was that Texas has more tracks involved in the BMX league than any other state. Did I read that correct?
That is 100% fact. It is very cool. We got 4 locations. We got Central Texas, DeSoto, Cowtown, and Katy BMX.
Nice.
And hey, that's Texas, man. It's always bigger in Texas, and you guys are doing it like champs, and everybody's seeing success. And so again, it's just like it's about being a model for other tracks, and hitting this in different markets with this program is essential, because there's a lot of tracks that don't have the volunteers or the access to loaner equipment. There's a ton of concerns, and luckily, as an office, USA BMX is putting all the resources behind it, and there is, so far, there's no excuse that we can't overcome.
Yes. Well, one of the coolest things was, and my biggest fear, and I spoke to you about it in private when we were having our conversations, and that was the bike situation. When people see pictures or they've been to DeSoto, seen a big race, they assume we have lots of money. And we're a nonprofit. We're like every other BMX organization. Yes, we're blessed. We have a cover, and we're a big facility. But the fact is, there's just not a lot of money into this. And our biggest fear was, how do we make sure that these kids have equipment? And after speaking with you and the USA BMX, we were able to receive 15 Mongoose bikes up front, to make sure. And I tried to, and we were fortunate at the moment when we made the order. I said, hey, I have the money, let me go ahead and get these bikes paid for. And it was, no, you sit on it, let's get you through our first season, and at the end of the season we'll talk, see where you're at. And so anybody out there that's listening to this and think that, oh, our program cannot afford it, no, you can afford it, no matter the situation you're in. The USA BMX has your back. So does Donnie, so does Mike, and all the staff at the USA BMX. They will make sure that you have the equipment, the bikes, the helmets, the jerseys, the paperwork, the curriculum. It's literally, it can happen to any track. So if you're listening to this and you want to be a part of it, contact Donny Robinson, contact the USA BMX, Mike Caruth, anybody. This situation can be a reality at your track within just a few weeks or a month or so of making the first point of contact.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, we don't know what we don't know until we figure out what that is. So it was quite surprising to us in the beginning how many kids just didn't have bikes. We're talking 60% plus of the people that come out, they don't have bikes. If we don't have bikes for them to ride, how can we sell the experience? How can we sell a program? And so from the get-go, I mean, that was the only thing that we required tracks to have. And all of our locations were so big that we said, look, you're going to need 20-plus bikes on hand. I mean, the micros, the minis, all the way up to pros and cruisers, to be able to put these kids on the bike. And for most tracks, talking about purchasing 5 or 10 or 20 bikes, that's just out of reach. And so we lost a lot of tracks wanting to adopt the program because of that. Now, with USA BMX coming in and being willing to finance these bikes, and what's the coolest thing is really the league is meant to pay for this equipment anyway, and this equipment being paid through league revenue can also be used for you guys to host birthday parties, which you can make money off of, and all of these things. And so this program is going to pay for the bikes and everything you need that can help you make money in other ways. So, the trunks that are still scared about this program working for them, I mean, again, we've done it across all markets. We're able to give you all the tools, teach you, pay for everything right up front, and get you these new riders out there. And so we've got, Ukiah, California coming on, upstate New York, upstate BMX. We've got a track in Kansas coming on. And so they're all over the place, and, especially Desoto's getting ready to ramp up for their opening day, which we're all excited for. But yeah, this program and just the experience and all of the things that I've learned has just been a huge.
Well, listen, we're going to keep promoting it. We're going to push it. We were excited to have our open house, and then transferring October 2nd, we're going to have our opening day, and this BMX league is going to be huge. I'd like to switch gears and ask you just a few questions. I don't want to tug on no emotions or heartstrings, but the relationship with you in BMX with a lot of riders, one of your best friends, you got Jason Rogers. You were good friends with Kyle Bennett, the late great Kyle Bennett, and everybody. When I came into the sport, it's who it was. That those names that I just mentioned were the top guys in the sport of BMX. What I'd like to know, from your opinion, and today's riders and what we've evolved to, who do you see from America who has the best chance for these next Olympics coming up? How do you see it shaking out?
Oh, that is not a question I'm willing to answer, because anything can happen.
Oh, come on, Donny.
The veterans, the old dogs, I mean, I was one of them. I guess I still consider myself one of them. And that experience goes so very far. And that's something that I thought, going into the 2012 games, had I done a little bit better, maybe I'd have put my hat in the ring for 2016. That the experience and just being at the world level for many years, I mean, that is worth a lot. But, I think that there's some talent coming up, and that is always, dangerous for anybody that is aging and kind of been in the game for a while. Honestly, I don't see Connor going anywhere. Corbin has clearly shown that he is ready to rock, and he means business, and he can put it together better than ever. The girls, Elise is not going anywhere. Brooke is not going anywhere. But, really, these third spots and, the 4, 5, and 6 that might, vie for a potential Olympic spot. I mean, really, it's kind of up for grabs. And I don't know that I can really pinpoint any guy or gal that is going to be making a run, because anybody can turn anything around at any time. I mean, Kyle Bennett was the perfect proof of that. He was skillful and he had fun on his bike and he raced, but until he started taking it serious, he didn't have anything to offer. And once he did, it was just game over for everybody else. And so that'll be the question: is who's willing to put it all out there? And there's a lot of people who have the talent. Who are really I don't know if it's being more intelligent or they're realists or what, but with the state that our industry is in, it's tough to make a living, and it's tough to see a future in this sport. So how many of our talented riders who could be at the top are going to step out because they kind of want to go the school route? That will probably be a bigger question, and maybe leave the door open for somebody else.
Yes, it does. And I'm glad you answered it that way, because I dang sure couldn't have put it so eloquently. I guess if I wanted to try to use a big word. Let me ask another question. That has something to do completely opposite. You had mentioned you kind of dropped a hint about something that was coming up the last time we talked on Chris's Corner, and then after that conversation, I seen a post. You were standing with a young BMXer, and I seen the jersey. So if I may ask, what did I see that read Dream Team?
So that is what Mike Cruz and I are calling part of the league extension. So through the process of running the BMX Racing League, we're finding out new things. I mean, we thought it was just about recruitment, and we thought that we would have the riders forever, but we understand that we're losing riders at the same rate, whether they come in through league or just jump right into open racing, and we got to figure out why that is. So we're keeping them in the 5-week and now the 6-week program for a reason. And so I was like, man, I think it's because, they've got a clique, they've got a group, they've got a family out at the track. And they, of course, love the continued instruction and the progress and all of that. And so we saw these riders kind of fall off after they, graduated from the league into open racing. I said, well, how can we keep them even longer into the sport? And I said, man, we got to start a team. And this team is centered, again, just like league, around fun, but it is the next level. And so I was thinking of names, and I kind of wanted to incorporate my initials in the name. And so Dream Team, yes, we're talking about Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan and everything, and the older generations know that, but the younger generations don't. And so I've kind of landed on the Dream Team because, these riders do have, like most of us, dreams, and hopefully Two Wheels can help them get there. And so I said, all right, let's start a Dream Team, and let's have all these league graduates kind of jump onto this team, and we'll continue to offer them coaching that'll surround the open race, so they can be at the track for coaching, they can be at the track for racing, and then we could do it as a group, and we can hang out together. And so it has evolved pretty quick. I think we're going to have a chapter at Steel Wheels in Indiana. I think Emerald Valley in Oregon is going to have it, and so the idea is really for all of these league tracks to offer this Dream Team for riders that are graduating from the league, because the kids want that family atmosphere, so do the parents, and they want that continued coaching. And so here in Napa, my weekly sessions with my team is turning into just a family potluck, and we do a little bit of training, and we just hang out. And so on a weekly basis, I have like 27 or so of my team riders out at the track, and we're just hanging out, having fun. And I'm looking at this, and I'm like, just my team, the way it is right now, we have more people out at the track that some tracks have on their race night. And so that's part of it. It's like, man, we want to keep these riders in the sport, and so I think we're finding a way to do it for longer. And what's going to happen once they turn intermediate or expert? Are they going to fall off? I don't know yet, but we'll kind of figure out if that's a problem and try to solve it at that time. But I think that we are helping to extend the life of all of the racers we are bringing in.
Well, I can tell you this: once we get our feet wet, we get through our, one or two rounds of this racer league. DeSoto will definitely throw its hat in the pot to be part of the Dream Team and have a chapter at DeSoto BMX under the big top here in DeSoto, Texas. We would always love to anything that's associated with Donny Robinson, USA BMX, and the Racing League, and keeping kids on the track. We're always going to be involved, and we definitely want to help evolve the sport and the riders. Well, listen, Mr. Donny Robinson, we appreciate your time. I've got racing about to kick off here in a few minutes, and I can't thank you enough from the bottom of my heart to have our back the way you do, and just the level of commitment that you've shown through your career, and to the kids, to the parents, and to us track operators in the sport, and helping us out. You're just a phenomenal human being, and I just couldn't be more happy with our friendship and the way it's evolving.
Oh, Chris, the feeling's mutual. Your beautiful bride, she's a rock star. You guys are excellent at what you do. I can't wait to see where we go from here. And everybody listening, thank you for all the support, track operators. Yes, I absolutely have your back. I mean, I know more than ever that our sport survives because of all of you. And so our goal is just to make your work count for more than ever. So thank you very much for inviting me on the show. I'm always willing to jump on with you.
Well, thank you very much, Donnie. You be blessed. Y'all have an awesome and phenomenal week, and we'll talk to you here in just a couple weeks, sir.
Thanks, guys.
All right, be blessed. Barney Goodwin, Fort Wayne BMX. I just hope he answers me.
Hello.
Mr. Barney Goodwin.
It is I.
This is Chris Allen, Desoto BMX, under the big top here in Desoto, Texas. We're live on episode 3 of, actually, not live. This is going to be going out here in a day or two. We'll get it put out, tomorrow?
Tomorrow,
The podcast, we'll get it put out tomorrow. And just want to invite you on the show and just kind of see what's happening at Fort Wayne BMX and kind of what your program's got going on right now. If you'd like to just kind of jump in, tell us what you got going on, what's happening in your program, and any big thing you got coming up.
Well, I sure appreciate you getting a hold of me. Right now, I'm actually sitting in my side yard. I think I got about 10 or 12 little Fort Wayne BMXers riding on our pump track.
Nice.
Under the lights. It's about 9 o'clock here. It's pitch black, but I have 7 400-watt metal halide light fixtures lighting up my side yard.
Nice.
And the kids are chasing each other around. Yeah, it's a good time.
I mean,
we just act. What's that?
What else do we want to do on a Saturday night?
This is it. We actually we kind of comboed up a little. We had our board meeting for September and our yearly board member elections, and I'm proud to announce that I was reelected as a track operator for next year, so they didn't throw me out on that year, which is awfully nice.
Nice. So, well, congratulations on that. And
well, thank you.
I have a gentleman. He's approaching us to put a headset on. I was really excited to get you on here, and like I said, this is going to be going out, and we actually have about 10 minutes before we get started with tonight's races here at DeSoto BMX. But you had put out a little video. You were walking around the track, and you were talking about a track operators race at the USA BMX Grands in Tulsa, at the greatest race on earth. And a gentleman showed up to my track tonight, brought us some helmets, and that we had ordered. Mr. Jason Crouch, track operator from Central Texas BMX. And I just thought, since I'm not a racer, I guess I can get in the gate and pedal the track. I'm actually, we had brainstormed earlier, me and Mr. Blaine Graham, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to get sponsored up. I'm going to have me a nice bike built. I mean, I know I don't know how to race one, but I'm going to talk to S Squared and Answer, and I'm going to get a bike built and strictly for that race. And then when that race is over, if I don't tear the bike up, I am going to give that bike or raffle that bike off to a kiddo. So I'm going to have a bike built and sponsored, and then we're just going to give it away and see what we can do with that. I think it'll be something awesome. Give somebody a chance to actually have a nice bicycle, and we'll figure out a good way to get that bike given out. But the biggest thing I wanted to do here, especially with Jason Crouch and yourself, since you ride, I kind of want to spark a little feud. You know, I'm a trouble starter. So I got Jason Crouch on.
What's up?
So let's see what we can get going. So why don't you tell us what your idea is with this race?
Well, before I go into that, you mentioned something about getting with Answer S Squared, and we did a deal with John Sawyer with S Squared about doing a raffle for Fort Wayne BMX, and I hit him up with an idea to buy a bike from him to raffle it off at our state qualifier, and he was instantly on board and really worked hard to make sure it happened for us. And unfortunately, we had a cash option. We raffled the bike off. A racer won it, and he took the cash instead. I was completely disappointed. I was looking forward to building the bike for him. But yeah, Escort is a class outfit for sure.
And wasn't that the one Jason Carnes did the video for from Burma Academy?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Jason Carnes, that guy's a character. I love that guy, man. I sent my kid on one of his Burma Academy tours this year for 2 weeks, and I can't wait to send him back. So honestly, if you're listeners, if you're thinking about doing it, get a hold of Jason Carnes and schedule that up. It's a trip of a lifetime. You don't want to miss it.
Absolutely. Well, go ahead and we got Jason Crouch. He's listening.
What's up?
How you doing, man? I don't know if we've ever met
I don't
before.
think we have.
I'm sure we've crossed paths at race. I've never been down to Texas, but it is on my list to get down there someday.
Oh, yeah, you need to make it down. You got some awesome tracks here.
Jason,
I know Jason Shaw is a friend of mine. I've raced with him a little bit. I think he's a Cowtown guy. Is that where you said you're from?
Oh, yeah. No, well, I'm from Central
right.
Texas BMX in Austin.
Oh, I gotcha.
yeah,
I gotcha.
Cowtown, and that's Craig and Regina Prince out at Fort Worth. Yeah, down by right outside of Austin is Central Texas BMX. They got the big giant hill. They got the biggest starting hill in Texas. They put on an absolutely phenomenal show down there. But Jason, he's a vet pro himself. And
Yeah.
when he heard about this little race, his ears perked up. He said, I'm going to put my hair in a ponytail, and I'm going to show everybody what's up.
Heck yeah. No, I'm a firm believer in no man buns, man.
No man buns.
I can't do it. I can't do it. It's against my
That's
religion.
fantastic. If I let my hair grow out, put it in a man bun, I'd look like Gallagher, the comedian that smashed watermelons. That's not a good look for a bald guy, I guarantee you that.
Got to grow a beard.
Anyways, yeah, no chance. So, anyway, what happened, Chris, I was literally, I had taken one of those weird days where I didn't go to the track on my lunch hour. I took off early to go pick up a double drum roller to prep the track for the last part of the season. I had a 55-gallon drum of soil cement on the back, and I'm cruising, sitting in traffic, just brainstorming stuff, and I thought, what would be really cool is to get all the track operators on the track and have a race. And that's where it all started from, and I thought, well, Tyler Brown's considered the fastest track operator in the world. He's going to be in Louisville this weekend. This is coming up on Labor Day weekend. So I went over and talked with him a little bit, but I just couldn't quite get the pitch right as far as putting a video out there and promoting the idea. So it's been incubating for a couple of weeks. And I just kind of decided I'm just going to walk around the track and talk about it. Put something out there, a little something fun to watch and see what happens. Obviously, it's been pretty well received. It's been viewed a couple thousand times and lots of comments, all kinds of good vibes, lots of positive reinforcement. I mean, it sounds to me like USA BMX is open to it. I don't know why they wouldn't. I mean, it wouldn't take that much effort to put it on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it'd be amazing. I mean, I get the opportunity to chase Tyler Brown around the track, on the races we go to. But, no, it'd be great to get all the track operators out there. And it doesn't matter if you're the fastest or anything. Just to have somebody out there cheering for the track operator is the biggest part of that. That I think it would be amazing. And that's, we experienced that a little bit of, we had a track operator race at the state finals in I think it was 2015 here in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just fun. It was fun to get all the track operators on the gate and then have the local crowd cheer for their track operator, man. It was awesome. So to see that, to see that on a national level would be amazing.
Yeah, I think so too. And I don't stand a chance to win the thing. I'm your average 46 to 50X and might make a main every now and then, but I'm not planning on winning. But I'm gonna go out and race. Go out in front of the crowd, get introduced, get a little recognition for Fort Wayne BMX and the other guys. And
well, I mean, you never know. In one of those races, I can already predict. There won't be a good race between first, second, and third, but fourth, fifth, sixth, all the way down. That's going to be a race. That's what we want to see is the track operators that don't really ride that much, but can throw down a little bit. And they're the ones that are going to be, creating havoc out there on the track.
Well, I'll tell you right now, guys. Being the guy who doesn't ride a bike in this group, I'm going to start training tonight on my 30-foot line, and I will cut the track, and I will cheat. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to cheat, and I'm going to win. So, hey, if y'all got the chest hair to throw down with me, then Chris's Corner's coming straight at you. Chris's Corner going to sponsor myself and, hopefully S Squared and Answer. And I'm going to throw down, and then we're going to have some young person get an awesome bicycle. But listen, what I'd like to do is invite you back here in about a week. Let's get together throughout this next week or so. Let's get some information and really get some stuff hammered out. We'll make some calls to USA BMX. I just wanted to get this put into everybody's ear. And let's start the momentum, the excitement. We're going to get going, and we're going to make this idea. That's Barney Goodwin from Fort Wayne BMX. This is going to be your show. And I'll tell you what, brother, we're going to build your idea, and it's going to become a yearly thing. And I've got your back, and I want to help you grow it.
That's an awful lot of pressure on me, Chris. I'm probably going to have to race in a Tyrannosaurus Rex costume. That way, I got a reason why I'm so slow out there.
Well, it's going to be fun, brother, and y'all be blessed. Enjoy those kiddos out at the track, and be looking for my phone call later this week, sir.
All right. Well, I appreciate you getting hold of me.
Hey, absolutely. Y'all be blessed, and have a great evening.
You too. Thanks a lot.
Well, I tell you what, Jason, Casey's yelling at me.
Oh,
She's wanting me to get tonight's action started. I appreciate you coming on, but now listen.
I came here to watch some races.
Listen, this track operator race, we're going to start some crap. Hey, if anybody thought there was a feud between track operators before, there's going to be one after this, because it's going to be, I guarantee you Craig Prince is going to jump in.
Oh, yeah.
So you got Tyler Brown, Craig Prince, Jason Crouch, Chris Allen, all on the same gate. I mean, I'm getting in the gate. I'm jumping in. I'm going to do this. I want in.
Yeah.
I want to race at the Grands. I can
yeah.
say I raced at the Grands.
There you go.
So I'm going to come. I'm going to kick your tail, bro. you better get it figured
Let's
out.
throw it down. Let's hope it's after my race, so I'm tired.
I want to thank everybody for joining us on Chris's Corner, checking out our third episode on our podcast.
Hi.
How is Alex Hill doing tonight?
I am good.
Can you hear me good?
Yes.
Okay. Well, this is Chris. I am calling on behalf of Chris's Corner podcast. I just wanted to call and talk to the ever so famous Alex Hill and see how you're doing.
Oh, that's nice.
Well, what's going on with you? I hear you're a 13-year-old girl. Currently, you're sitting Nag 1. You ride out of Minnesota at Pineview BMX for Adventure BMX is the race team that you're on. And just wanted to holler at you and kind of get some information and see what you're going to be taking into the Grands and what everybody's got to watch out for.
Well, I don't really know what I have to look out for, sort of. I just have to be aware of all my competition.
Okay. Do you have anybody in particular that you're aiming for, that you've got to keep behind you at least one spot?
Well, the person that's closest to me in neg points is Meg. She's a Michelle Schreiber, and she's very, very fast.
Uh-oh. So what's going on in your world of BMX right now? What do you got going on?
Right now I'm in Raytown, Missouri, racing at a national.
Raytown, Missouri.
How'd you do today, Alex?
Didn't do so hot. I raced neg 3, Brookcraft. I got second, and then in class, I got pushed up in second turn and got fourth.
So, when was it? Last week or 2 weeks ago, we had another young girl on here, Trinity Stofflet. You know her.
Yes, me and Trinity are good friends.
We were talking with her about what she does to prepare for all these races. And you are probably one of the hardest working people that I know of in BMX. Tell us a little bit about what do you do for training?
What I do for training is I try to do sprints every other day, and I go to the gym and lift weights and go to the track.
So she has a professional trainer that she trains with.
What?
Talk about him, and he's a bodybuilding guy.
Unbelievable. What?
Yes, my trainer is a bodybuilder.
What do you bench? What's up?
I don't do benching. I mainly focus on my legs.
Hey, listen, I can bench a half gallon of Bluebell ice cream. That's what I'm good at benching, and watching races and benching some nachos. If it's a good day, I can bench a chili pie. But no, that's awesome to hear. So, I mean, when you go to the gym and you're working with your trainer, what is the number one thing that you focus on, or that you feel you need to focus on?
What I mainly focus on at the gym is form and kind of the main workout of saying, okay, let's work my way up to a max level that I'm not going to overdo myself, but not go too easy.
Well, that's awesome.
And I do sprints on the bikes with, tension to make it push harder.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm with you. Well, let me ask you this. Have you ever been to DeSoto BMX?
Yes, I have been to Desoto BMX. It's a great track.
Were you here for the National this year?
Yes, I was here for the National. I got first both days on class and a first and a third on cruiser.
Nice. Well, I don't know if you've seen the schedule for the first half of the year, but yes, I will be hosting once again here at DeSoto BMX under the big top here in DeSoto, Texas, the 2019 Super Nationals, April 5th, 6th, and 7th. And I would like to cordially invite you to come race here back at DeSoto BMX.
Well, I would gladly go to DeSoto again.
Nice. Well, we'd love to have you. You know, we got the new gate put in. It was after the Supers.
Yeah, it was after.
Yeah, it was after the Super National that we got the new gate in. I've got we were at 26 degrees when you were here, 25 and a half, almost 26 degrees. We're at 15 degrees with a new gate, and so the gate system and the way the starting hill is built is complete. Not the actual hill, but the angle of the hill and the starting gate is completely brand new. So I'm really looking forward to everybody that raced the National coming back to something completely different and completely new.
Well, that sounds fun. I'm looking up for it.
Cool.
So what nationals are you going to hit, Alex, before Grands, or what are you looking to do to prep yourself up for Grands coming up?
What I'm looking forward to Grands is kind of pushing myself the hardest to be the best I can be at Grands, because my goal is to make one mains at my Grands, because I haven't made a mains yet, and that's my biggest goal.
Well, it sounds like you've got the mentality, and I mean, especially if you ride with Trinity Stofflet and train the way that I've just heard about your training, I can't see any reason you wouldn't make a main at the Grands.
No, I think I've been watching her ride really close, and I think she's going to do it this year. This is your year, Alex.
There you go, Alex Hill.
Thanks, Blaine.
You're gonna throw down and make the main event at the Grands.
And you're going to come and you're going to race Sarasota with us?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'd have to talk to my mom about Sarasota.
It's on recording now. You're racing Sarasota, so tell Angie that you're coming on out.
Mom, Blaine says we're going to Sarasota.
Hey, Alex, you want to?
Yes?
I want you to take this time to throw a shout out to all your sponsors, your team, and everybody that you ride for.
Oh, well, a big thanks to my mom and dad first off. Thanks to Blaine for helping me on the track. That's a big plus. And Adventure BMX for picking me up 2-3 years ago. It's had a great time so far. All this years. It's a great team.
Well, I'll tell you, Alex, we look forward to all the time that we get to spend with you guys. We have a lot of fun out there. And, yeah, thanks for coming on and talking to us.
No problem.
Alex, it was really great to get to talk to you, and I tell you what we'll definitely do is Blaine and we're going to have Chris's Corner podcast set up at the Grands, and I would like to also cordially invite you to be on the show live at the Grands if you'd like to.
Oh, I'd love to do that at Grand.
That will be cool. I cannot wait to have you back on the show. I'm a new fan of yours now. I'm going to be watching. I'm going to know exactly what's going on in your BMX career the next time we talk. And Alex Hill, I greatly appreciate you spending some time with us.
Thank you. It's an honor.
Good luck, and you hammer them tomorrow at the National. Put yourself on that top spot, and we're going to be rooting for you, young lady.
Thank you.
All right, Alex, thank you.
No, thanks, Blaine.
Be
Bye.
blessed. All right, I'd like to thank each and every one of y'all for coming on, enjoying the show. And I just want to really emphasize one thing that we always say each and every time that I'm blessed enough to be on Chris's Corner Live on Wednesdays or the Chris's Corner podcast. Listen, do me a favor. When you're out there and you see somebody down, lift them up and give somebody a hug. It'll make you a better person. God bless you, and peace out.
Do they even know who I am?
Who?
There's people on here.
These people where?
All the viewers.
There's no camera.
No, y'all need to go follow X-Rider-X.
Bye.